Okay. What's going on, guys? It's the guys from the Coach's Vault. Today, I got Marcus, Terrence, and Dustin with me today, and we're going to be talking about a few things. Okay. First, okay. Well, actually, two things. Okay. Before you go ahead and really fill this out, go ahead and like and subscribe our stuff. Okay. Follow us on the Coach's Vault at Instagram, and also go ahead and check up our blog at the Coach's Vault. Marcus just reminded me to tell you guys that first, because I usually wait until 45 minutes, and who really watches all 45 minutes of us talking about bullshit? Okay. Anyway, second thing, okay, big shout out to Leo, who just gave, well, his wife just gave birth, okay? Apparently I said his wife just gave birth to a 8-pound, 15-ounce baby girl. Her name's Emma, okay? Congratulations, Leo, man.
Shout out to Leo, man. That's dope.
Congrats, Leo.
Congratulations.
All right. And actually, one more thing, okay? It's the second month of the Coach's Vault. Well, we'll roll over a little extra days. Second month of the Coach's Vault. So I wanted to tell each one of you guys, I appreciate you guys so much for being a part of this, like giving out content and being so receptive to my bullshit, and especially Marcus's. So I apologize for Marcus's bullshit, but thank you for appreciating mine.
Well, fuck
We
you.
appreciate you, bro.
Fuck you, sir.
Thank you.
I don't appreciate you. I'll take all that back.
Blah 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 blah. Whatever. But anyway, seriously, guys, I really appreciate you sticking with us, and then hopefully this also takes off a little bit faster, and we stay a little bit longer with this. Okay, especially with all you guys starting to go back into work very soon.
Crazy to think we hit 2 months though.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Exactly. The first 2 months are great. We're really good, man. We did a great job so far. Okay. Anyway, okay. So let's go into our topic today. So our first topic is it actually came up with me and Marcus arguing like we usually do. Okay. So on Instagram, on the strength coach with a whiteboard kind of on post, it said burpees are stupid. Now, I fully agree burpees are fucking stupid. Well, Marcus necessarily doesn't. All right. So Marcus's argument was that the fact that it's great to kind of get the heart rate up with some burpees, and I told him, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but if you're killing somebody with burpees, then what really is the point? AKA CrossFit. But
Take a shot.
big shout out to CrossFit who kills their people with burpees. But yeah, so I was like, well, if you kill them with burpees, then you fail as a coach, because like you really came up with nothing. You're just gonna go ahead and give 100 burpees. You kind of just gave up. All right, but I wanted to go ahead and tell him, like, he came back at me with this when he was in football, okay, they did half gassers and burpees till they dropped because they got 13 penalties in the game. I was like, yeah, I mean, I've been there. Like, I had it in baseball where we had to run around the whole diamond a couple of times because we lost by a significant amount. But what I wanted to kind of tell them is that we have to do better as coaches to kind of give different forms of discipline that don't involve exercise. Because especially with these kids, what happens is that they correlate exercise to punishment, and that leads to this whole like life of just like not exercising because they're scared of the punishment that comes with it. It was like they're always scared of what's going on.
But do you realize what that saying, like, we gotta find new ways to discipline our kids, is that we're making our kids softer? Like, bro,
100%.
It's like,
well, then hit your fucking kid. I'd rather you hit your kid and your kid be scared of you than your kid be scared to exercise. That's what I'm saying.
These kids gonna be scared to exercise no matter what if you don't teach them properly. Like, look, like you gotta teach them discipline, like how to like listen properly, how to understand when somebody says, in like a sport, like, hey, I need you to take this route, or listen to, the play calling, or listen to the quarterback's, cadence, and you don't do that. I mean, a coach can't hit the kid. You can't, it's so many. This is a limited amount of ways you can actually discipline the kid, especially in sports. And the best way to do it is, well, you know what? Everybody in sports, your cardio, your endurance sucks, your stamina sucks. So what's the best thing to do? Well, we're going to be doing gassers or burpees. And, it's a great finisher for after, towards the end of an entire workout, or practice. And I really, when my high school team football, we had 13 penalties in the game. So our coach had us doing 13 gassers with the full equipment. It sucked. really bad, and we had to do 13 minutes of 13 minutes of burpees because of it, which also sucks. But guess what? Everybody else the next day we had no penalties for the rest of the season, and we listened like like because we were scared to ever have that happen to us again. But I don't know, man. I feel like it's like everybody's getting softer, and even with the times, like football already is almost about to be two-hand touch eventually, and it's like now when we get talking about playing the bubble, everybody wants to bubble wrap their kids. No one wants to like have their kids play football at a young age anymore. Like, come on, man. Like it's getting horrible.
So going with that. So I understand the conditioning of it. I understand everything else. But there's purpose to conditioning and there's purpose to dying. What's really going on if you're going to go ahead and do 13 minutes of burpees? Are you really doing 13 minutes of burpees, or you're taking another minute to go throw up, come back and finish? You get me? So what I'm saying is that there's got to be a different way of disciplining these kids. It's not making them soft. Like killing somebody doesn't make you fucking tough. You know what I mean? And it doesn't. And it's what you're kind of saying is that like it's the best way. But I also think it's the easiest way. Like, go run. You know what I mean? You're kind of, as a coach, you're kind of taking this stance of like, well, you fuck up, go run. You know what I mean? But what happens when you kind of look internally as yourself as a coach? Maybe you, as a person, didn't understand that he didn't know that he couldn't do X, or you haven't practiced that he shouldn't be holding as often. You get me? You have to go ahead and think backwards to what did you do as a coach to kind of get this guy to fuck up, and what can you do to discipline him differently? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I mean, all conditioning, we're doing conditioning regardless. You doing extra conditioning and almost dying because of it, how much are you getting better? You know what I'm saying? And then you're getting tougher. I think you get tougher and mentally tougher by not getting those penalties and by practice and deliberate practice. And that comes from the coach understanding what they're doing. But just killing them for the sake of punishment doesn't get you mentally tougher. You know what I mean? It gets you literally what you said. It gets you scared to do it again. And what are you learning? Not to do it because you're scared. It's not to do it to get better. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, it's like growing up as a child. Your parents said, "Don't touch the stove," and then you over here put your hand on the stove when it's hot.
Yeah, but did you
burn yourself?
Listen.
But you burn yourself. You listen, but you don't do it anymore, right?
Listen. But you're burning yourself wasn't a punishment. You're stupid if you went again and you burned yourself. But this is what you're saying is that, hey, don't burn yourself on the stove. The kid does it. He burns himself. He did it himself. Yes. You told him what to do, but you know what you could have done? Hey, kid, don't put your hand on there. You're going to burn yourself. It's going to hurt like hell. If he still does it, then it's his fault. But what you're saying is that punishment as running and exercise, kid, you touch it. Oh, you burn yourself. Oh, it hurts. And then you slap the motherfucker because he burned himself. That's what you're saying. You understand? You're saying not only that he did something wrong, he understood he did something wrong, and you still smacked him.
Okay, let me change. You know what? Let me change that.
It's a great argument.
Example. Example.
Yeah, I'm
take that example. It's like your parents told you, okay, you go to the grocery store, like, hey, don't take that bag of chips, whatever, right? So you take it. Somehow you manage to take it out of the store, and then you potentially stole. What your parents gonna do? They're gonna yell at you, right? That's the first thing. They yell at you to tell you like it's wrong. Next thing, you go home, guess what? You got that belt whooping waiting for you because you stole something. So that's that form of punishment. And next day, what you gonna do? Not gonna steal, right? You learn your lesson. It's the same way. It's the same way running gases, and at the same time, it's also helping you like, okay, yeah, running gassers or doing burpees, you know, like which is like where you're about to die. It just builds your your character. Like, okay, do you quit when it gets hard, or do you continue? Like, it really makes you think of like, who are you as a person? Like, because in life, we're going to be dealing with situations that's going to constantly get harder and harder and harder. You know what I mean? Okay. And so it gives it brings it down to that.
Okay, I got my finger up. So listen, okay? So for your mental toughness thing, okay? Because you know this is my thing. For your mental toughness thing, and you're saying that punishment gets you mentally tough.
Right.
Yes. When you train, are you training for punishment or you're training to get better?
I'm training to get better, but I train.
Exactly. Your mental toughness is focused on you getting better. You're not punishing yourself because you didn't train hard enough.
But I train myself to the limit, though. I train myself to the limit, which is
not
going to help me get better.
That's not punishment.
You ever try to do 225 for 25 reps for 4 sets? That is a punishment. Because it's a punishment. But it makes me stronger, though.
You have chosen that.
But it makes you stronger, though.
Listen, in its sense, because you've chosen that, it's not a punishment. It's for you to get better. It's different.
It's like a form of punishment. So doing burpees is like a form of exercise that gets you stronger mentally. But at the same time, it doesn't. It's like a person training to do a plank for over 2 hours. It hurts. It's a punishment. It feels like a punishment.
Listen, you don't get it. They chose that. That person who wants to do a plank for 2 minutes has chosen his path. What you're saying is that as a coach, you get me? He has chosen to do 13 penalties so he can go ahead and
So what you gonna do to the kid? You're gonna watch 5 hours of film now? You're gonna sit down after school and watch 5 hours of film?
In that sense, he actually gets better. Or why don't you ask him why did he do that?
But is that not a form of punishment? Telling the kid you have to watch 5 hours of film?
I'd rather do that. We're discussing.
It's the same shit.
No, what we're discussing is exercise as a form of punishment.
You're exercising your brain, though, right? You're exercising your brain. Your brain is constantly working.
You're not. All right. I'm so done with you. I'm really so done with you because you know you're wrong and you're digging yourself into a hole.
I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong.
You're wrong.
You just mad because you know I'm right. That's what it is.
No, you're not. Like I am. Hey, listen.
You know what? I don't want to hear you anymore. Terrence. Mute yourself.
I'm the host.
Mute yourself.
I got to Marcus.
I gotta mute myself anyway. I gotta mute myself. You mute yourself.
You stop it. You stop it. Okay. Anyway. Okay. All right. Okay. We're gonna calm it down, okay? Marcus and me can literally go all day. We can go all day. Okay, so all right. You can talk about argument if you want. You can go ahead. Okay. What do you guys think as a better way for discipline for athletes or kids, or do you think it's like exercise can be used, or what do you guys think about this argument? Like in general.
I'm with you on the side of I don't like to use exercise as a form of punishment. Just because like I preach big on just having like people build a healthy relationship with exercise. So if I'm overdoing something in a sense to just like show you, hey, what you did is bad, so I'm gonna make you do X, Y, and Z 1,000 times, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'm not the biggest fan of using burpees as punishment, just because I know when people get tired, that shit's gonna break down so nasty, and it's just gonna turn into something else completely different. I would probably be more pushing towards having someone do gassers if I really wanted to like punish them with like conditioning and shit like that. But I'm like on the fence of both of you guys, because I do think people should get away from like some of this softness shit that we go through, and I think a lot of that comes with people like just not being tested, or like I always live by the thing. I think everybody should at least get punched in the face once in their life, right? So if you get punched in your face once in your life, then you know like, oh, shit is real, shit can happen to you, right? So it's just I just get a little weird when you throw the word exercise into it. But if you really want to be honest though, like Marcus isn't wrong and you're not really wrong. It does depend on who you're talking to, because some people don't learn from that shit. Like, oh, fuck it, like, yo, go run 20 gassers or some shit like that after when you do something wrong. They're like, all right, whatever. Somebody else, you got to hit them where it hurts. If you tell your star running back, yo, you're sitting out the next 3 games regardless because you fucked up, he gonna feel that.
Yeah.
And especially if you need him on the team to like win the championship, if you're doing it to teach a lesson to where the whole team suffers, then I think like some of the other players on the team is gonna.
No.
Where you going with it?
No. Let them both talk. Let them both talk.
I want to hear.
Okay, fine.
Okay. You see, I don't like it. I don't like that.
He's actually on your side. You get me? He's on both of our sides, and you're still calling him wrong.
No, that's a tie. I want to win. I'm a winner, and I'm gonna win.
Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
Okay.
Go ahead.
See, I don't really like that as a form of punishment because now you're telling a kid, well, I'm gonna sit you out. Unless it's like, okay, something that was like a crime he committed that he has to sit out, understandable. But like, say it was like you trying to get your point across, telling the kid like, all right, you're gonna sit out. One creates resentment with that kid towards you, because like you doing something like with exercise, it's like, okay, I have to get it over with. I'm done. But you telling a kid that's young, oh, I have to, you're gonna sub because you did X, Y, Z. That kid creates resentment towards you. Fuck you, Evan.
He creates Evan on that too, because if you tell a kid he's doing 100 burpees, he can look at that as
no, exactly. Look, he look.
And I don't know what age range we're talking about.
Yeah. So we are talking in general. But the thing is that all right, let's talk about high school to college, which are important transitions no matter what. Okay, let's just talk about that in general. But let's say that you're right, Marcus. Okay, they can go ahead and you can tell them to run, but you literally just said it. They can run and they don't care, and they just go back and go do their own thing. You literally just said it. But if you don't take the game away from them, the one thing that can get them into college, let's just say those 3 games that Terrence is talking about are the only 3 games scouts are playing.
Yeah, but in the same way, that kid can also transfer out of that school, and then your program goes to shit because your star player is gone.
Yeah. Well,
so now you have a shitty ass program now without your star player.
And that's fine and dandy. Maybe 3 is drastic. Let's just say 1. Let's just say 1 game, and it's one of the most important games of the season. No matter what. But what happens if they won without him? What happens if they won without him?
You lost your player. You still lost your player.
That's fine. But it's about being taught a lesson and understanding the fact that you are not the fucking boss. Listen, it's a punishment in the sake that you fucked up. This is what you get. You don't have to run. You know what I mean? You're good at running. You know what I mean? They don't care. You just said it. They don't care about running. They can run half gassers and they'll be like, all right, well, I'm good. I'll run the half gassers. I'll never do it again. You know what I mean? You take the game of life. Ball is life to some of these kids. You take it away from a kid who only plays football, only plays basketball. They're like, oh shit. I will never do that again.
Perfect what you just said there, because the fact that you're taking away what they love so much, they will be more resentful and not willing to play for you anymore because you did that. You telling them
how many times has that actually ever happened? That they were away won a game and they immediately like that's a whole issue. You know what I mean? You're out 1 game, you're going to come back and you're going to go after the coach, be like, listen, you need me. But if it was a lasting thing where the coach relationship and the person relation and the athlete relationship was so bad that 1 game you're sitting out became the catalyst for you to leave.
You just said that. But you just said that one. If you want to sit that player out on one of the most important games with their scouts, and that kid doesn't play and they're scouts, that kid is not going to want to play for you anymore because the most important game when he knows there's scouts come and watch and he's not playing, dude, you lost your player. You literally lost your player.
No, you know why?
You lost your player.
There's a video. Here you go. Watch my kid play. I mean, it's not nowadays. It really doesn't necessarily matter. But I get what you're saying.
But there's no other.
Listen. How many kids have the opportunity to even transfer as quickly as you think to go ahead? What happens if it was the kid's senior year? How many kids have that opportunity to be like, I'm going to transfer out and play 3 remaining games or whatever amount of games somewhere else in a week?
Okay, that's very true. It's true. They are stuck. But how many kids, if they lost their chance to play against a team where they have multiple scouts showing, they might just sit up for the rest of the season and say, "Fuck it, I'm not playing for the rest of the season." And so they won't get injured for potentially going to college because like, think about, well, you know what? If you want to use my video, my tape as as a way to get scouts, then fuck it. I'm not gonna play the 3 remaining games. Here's my bill to the scouts. This is what I've done already. There you go. Fuck the coach. Fuck the team. I'm not playing anymore. It can happen both ways.
It can happen both ways.
But if you tell a kid, all right, we're gonna do some fucking burpees or whatever, cool. They'll be like, all right, it's what, maybe like 5 minutes of burpees, cool, whatever, fuck it, I'm gonna be done, and then I'm gonna go right back into doing what I need to do for the rest of the day, for the rest of the year, and I'm good.
But what did they learn? What did they learn?
They're gonna learn that every time they do something wrong, guess what you're gonna be doing? Fucking gassers or burpees. Which sucks, but you get to still play with your team. Hold on, time out. Dustin, what you got?
Hey, man.
Oh.
You're gonna put that much pressure on him like that?
I'll bring it way down.
Thank you.
So, I mean,
thank you.
In my career field where I am right now, I think there are certain incentives that need to be implemented just because they are at such a high level and everything. You know, that's going to happen if a mistake is made in practice or something, down and back on the court, you know, whatever. For kids, I don't think that exercise should be used as punishment. You know, I mean, sports coaches, they need to come up with something better, whether it's a point system, whatever. Because, you know, the younger kids, they're going to work really hard for rewards and for those participation trophies, which I'm not 100% for.
Yeah,
but let's
not talk about that. Let's not talk about that. That's a whole other conversation that we don't need.
Yeah, but in my personal experience, you know, in the weight room, leaving something out, I've had, if you know Coach Hatch, if you know Coach Matt, I've had bucket eights because I left the plate out. And guess what? I never did ever again. I never left the plate out. Yeah. Bucket eights are
I fucking hate bucket eights.
You'll start at some ridiculous percentage, whether your coach wants you to actually finish it or just actually need a bucket. That's why it's called bucket eights, because you're gonna need a bucket afterwards. But it is 4 sets of 8 front squats with a minute rest in between each one as soon as your weight is loaded, followed by 4 sets of 8 back squats with a minute in between as soon as your weight is loaded. It'll usually start off, I'm not sure the exact percentages, but it'll usually start off around like either 75% of your 3-rep max, or like if you want to be a dick and use a 1-rep max, you can do that too. But it'll be like a set of 70% front squats, 75% front squats, 80, 85%, and then the same thing for your back squats. And you only have that minute of rest in between each set. And then if you drop the bar, you have to pick it back up, go back down 5%, and then hit it again before you jump back up to the next set.
Dang.
So, yeah. So I never left the plate out again after that. But
look at that, he learned.
Also,
interesting.
Yeah. But at the same time, I wasn't able to walk for like 4 days after that. So
you do enough legs then.
No, Dustin does enough legs. Dustin does enough legs. Don't go ahead over here, Mr. 4 sets of 20. Mr. 4 sets of 25. Yeah, Mr. 4 sets of 25. That throw up in the bucket anyway, motherfucker.
but continue on.
You know, in collegiate weight rooms, also another thing, what's something else kids hate doing? When you were younger and you were laying in bed Sunday morning trying to sleep in, you hear the music come on, what's mom about to walk in your room and say? Hey, we're cleaning the whole house. Make the kids clean stuff. In the weight room, if they leave something out, Coach Chris does it. If they leave something out, then the next time they come in, they're going to clean the entire weight room. And they have to make sure all the plates are with the LSU, all the wording is straight up and down, all the logos look really good. They wipe down the benches, they wipe down the dumbbells, they wipe down the kettlebells, they wipe down everything. And then, you know, they don't do that, whatever they did again. So that's one form. And then also another one, these athletes, what do they want to do? They want to get better. They want to move on to the next level. So in practice or in weights, what they want to do is get better. So they want to be there. Sit them out. Sit them on the bench for practice. Sit them on the bench for weights. Make them watch their team work. And, you know, they're sitting on the side watching everybody else work, watching everybody else get better, watching everybody else grind. And they're sitting there thinking about, I should be out there, you know, getting better. So
yeah, I feel like that leaves a lot of room for a lot of kids, especially like if unless it's like your senior year, God forbid, or unless you haven't gotten redshirted, especially in college, it leaves a lot of room for error because you could sit out practice, could sit out a game, and then your backup takes over, and guess what? You just lost your job. Just like what happened with Alabama with Jalen Hurts. He got, he wasn't playing that great. Just sat him out, and next, his backup took over his job. I'm saying that could happen, and then that's where you're like, but that's a punishment but then you resent that coach. And then you transfer.
That's where you come in. That's where you come in as a coach, and if you sit them out that one time or whatever, then have the discussion with them after the lift, after the practice, like, hey, look, this is what you did. That's where you kind of have to, step up as the coach, have that relationship with the athlete, tell them like why you did it, what they did wrong, and unless they know what they did wrong, have that discussion, and then have it not be done again, and then they're there for all the other practices. They're there for all the other lifts.
Yeah.
See, try and correct it in that one instance.
Yeah. See, the thing what he's saying is that he sat him out. So he sat Jalen Hurts out, and then Tua came in. But that right there is exactly, in its sense, its own punishment. You knew Tua was a fucking superstar. You know what I mean? You have to not only fight for your position daily, which in its sense gets mental punishment, but the minute you sit out, you lose that chance. And again, yeah, you're right. It builds a sense of resentment for the coach and the whole environment. But whose fault was it in the first place?
I know, but that's
the coach's fault. It was it was his fault for fucking up. So that's his fault. But you gotta also think again, if they do transfer out, Marcus, you're right. They do transfer out and they become a star somewhere else. You know what I mean? Jalen Hurts went to Oklahoma and become a fucking star. So like there's other things.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you ask a player to either do a form of exercise as punishment or sit out a game and potentially lose your starting spot because another player emerges as a superstar, if you ask that player which one you rather choose, I'm like, I'd rather go do burpees for years than sit out a game, and then my backup, is all of a sudden like the next best thing. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like
exactly.
That's what I'm looking at. Is like exercise is not really a form of punishment. It sucks, but I think it's a better form than you potentially losing your own starting job.
No, it's not even about losing the starting job, bro. You're literally saying it without even thinking it. You're saying that what's worse as a form of punishment that doesn't have to do with exercise. And what's worse is sitting them out. And you literally just said it. And that's the whole discussion that we're having. We're not having the discussion. That's literally the discussion we're having, bro. That's literally it. The discussion that exercise isn't as exercise is not as bad as going ahead and doing it. And so you teach a lesson by threatening or doing sitting that person out, which is worse and doesn't have to do with exercise. So that's literally the discussion we're having. You finished it right there with your own statement.
I definitely understand that, but I'm just saying, exercise is, I don't know, I think it's a great form of punishment because it's like, okay, you run, that's it. All you're gonna do is increase your stamina a little bit, your endurance.
But who's really gonna learn anything from that? What you're built like, I get what you're saying about conditioning. I get what you're saying about getting conditioning, but it's not getting you mentally tough because you're being mentally tough isn't the same thing as being scared. You're not mentally tough because you were scared. You're mentally tough because you struggled through something that was difficult. And yeah, it could be punishment, but punishment breeds fear. It doesn't breed toughness.
But you can also be scared by sitting out to lose your job. You lose your starting job,
which is another form of punishment.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But I'm looking at it as like, okay, with like doing like some type of like exercise, it sucks. It sucks a lot. I'm not gonna lie. And you can, as a coach, you can still talk to your players like, hey, this is why you're running. Because one, we went over this play X amount of times and you're not focused enough to realize to do what was asked of you. Or you're not listening, or you keep getting these stupid tic-tac-toe flags or whatever, right? So you're gonna be running, and running can be a great form of self-reflection at the same time. You can actually think, while you're sitting there, while you're running, like, why am I running? Oh, because the coach said that I didn't do X, Y, and Z. So I need to get better at doing X, Y, and Z, so that way I want to do this next time. So it's a great way because you can self-reflect while doing that exercise. If you're doing gassers, yeah, you be mad as hell because you're tired, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? Okay, how would I not have, like, what's one way I would not have to do gassers again? All right, don't get fucking flags. Don't get stupid flags in the game anymore, or actually do my homework. So if you tell me I'm sitting on the game because if you say I'm sitting on the game, which is more important to me as a player, dude, my resentment gets automatically boosted up to a whole nother level because I'm sitting. I'm like, why am I sitting out? If you watched what was that Netflix special? Oh my God, about the JUCO team, the kids from JUCO. They sat out games. They sat out games, and what did they do? They stopped wanting to play for that coach. They didn't want to play anymore. The coach, as a form of punishment, but the coach didn't bring out wasn't able to explain his reason of why he's sitting out in a way to the kids understand, like, okay, this is your punishment, because that's a worse punishment than dude is running.
I was lacking communication on the coach's part.
Yeah, and that exactly right there. So all this is literally saying the fact that it's literally our fault because we lack the form of communication enough to explain why you're sitting out or why you're running. And that right there is the miscommunication in the whole sense of what we're saying.
You know, the interesting part is, like, Marcus is arguing from the player's standpoint and you're arguing from the coach's standpoint. So I can see where both of you are coming from, like, both angles.
Look at that.
I think I'm just.
That's cool as well. I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that.
It's so interesting to listen to it because it's literally from both sides of the coin. Because it's like, yo, you make me sit out, I'm gonna hate you. And then it's like the other reason of it is like, well, I'm having you sit out because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know, because you're thinking from, like, a training standpoint, it's like conditioning doesn't work from just hammering someone until they can't breathe anymore. There's no adaptation in that. There's no. That's not how you get better at conditioning. You know, it's like the same thing with weight training. If somebody's like, yo, I got a goal of squatting at 315, it's like, all right, your first day of barbell squatting with me, we're going to load up 315 and see what happens. Like, that's not how it works. Like, there's a building up process to adapting in the training program. So you're looking at it in the sense, it's like, well, I don't want to just run my players with a bunch of burpees and a bunch of sprints until they're tired and their knees hurt and their backs hurt because they're just going to start half-assing and their form's going to break down because that's not building them up the way I want to. You know, so I see both ends of it.
Mm-hmm. But on a funny note, well, Tara said before, I understand when you get tired, burpees look horrendous, but it looks so funny though from as a coach.
No, fuck you.
We don't want to see that, Marcus.
No, man. No, man.
I'm gonna say
it's like a little kid trying to do push-ups.
Yeah.
He's gonna throw a shot.
It's just a funny thing. Like, I'm just saying, like, sometimes, like, I don't ever train my clients to exhaustion to where, like, you know, if they're doing a burpee, like I say, I'm only doing it for like 60 seconds, or we're doing it with we're gonna do like 10 to 15 burpees, like something like very small with my actual training clients. But like, I'm just thinking back to those days where I was playing football and the coach was like, yeah, do burpees, and I'm looking to my right and I see everybody like trying to get back up, and it's like how slow they're getting back up. It was like that. It was like the funny portion, but in reality, you should never push them from that far. But
no, bro, we're wearing pads. It's fucking 95 degrees.
Yeah, no, bro.
Day, like, that shit is so bad for you.
It's like the second session of the day. It's like it's the second two. No, but I get it. That's what's up, Terrence. That's definitely a good observation, though. On that.
That's a very good observation. I didn't even know the stat because it's just the way. I didn't know. You just
gotta make them do sled drags during the whole football field 3 times.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that.
That shit would suck.
That would really suck.
Yeah.
Down and back 3 times, sled drags on the football field.
First, I did not expect that conversation to go that long.
Bro, we were literally supposed to have a second question because it really wasn't. It really wasn't like a question and answer. We literally argued like we normally would. That was great. Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite ball talks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, but I think that's a great way to end it. I think out of all this, if I can summarize without Marcus saying but, and if you do have to say but, tell me I'm wrong, sort of. Okay. It starts from the top down. It all leaks. If a coach has communication issues with their players about why they're either running, you get me, as a form of punishment, or why they're sitting down as a form of punishment. Either way, you get me, they're both gonna get a sense of resentment. You know what I mean? So it's not their fault that they're feeling the sense of resentment. It's the coach's fault for not explaining to them why they're being punished for X. You know what I mean? I think that's the whole for learning to actually understand where you're coming from as a player. You know what I mean? And me coming from as a coach. That's literally what's happening. It's literally if I was literally the coach, you were literally playing. It's my fault because I didn't communicate to you correctly.
100%.
That's 100% true.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm
So I think
100% with that. 100%
Yeah.
with that.
Okay, good. If that's a solution to our hour-long argument, then that's the solution to our hour-long argument. But
just communicate with your players.
just communicate.
Man.
I think, and if you guys know me, I think communication is not just the key as a coach. It's not a key. It's the key as a coach. You know what I mean? If you lack communication, then with any single one of your players, your staff, people under you, your interns or anything like that, nobody knows what's going on. There's gonna be something that goes on. And I think that's just with any good coaching staff, like having that form of communication, whether it be writing, whether it be explaining. What the hell was that noise?
That was my computer.
Okay. I'm trying to give the last statement. But anyway, yeah. So the end of it, communication is the key. It's not one of the keys. It's literally the key. So practicing it daily will not only make you better, like as like a person, but make you better as a coach, make you better as a human being in general. But yeah, that's all I got. Unless you guys want to talk and argue about something else.
I would like to say to Terrence and Dustin, I apologize on behalf of Evan for arguing with me and losing, but he lost, so I apologize to you guys.
I didn't lose that. It literally was a draw. We literally talked about it. It was a draw. I explained it. My communication skills are so good that I explained it so well. No, you're not, bro. Okay.
Take your L and go. Take your L and go.
Do I have to mute you again? I have to mute you again. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So why don't we leave it like that? Unless anybody else got anything else to say. Okay.
Let's congrats to Leo again, man.
Yeah. Congrats on Leo.
Yeah. Congrats, bro. Leo.
Congrats, man.
Okay. Again, I know it's the end, and you probably didn't listen to us unless you found it hilarious that we were arguing. But go ahead and like and subscribe our YouTube. Okay. Go follow us on Instagram at the Coach's Vault. Go check up on our blog. We just got a new blog from Marcus, and I'm also going to be posting that on Instagram. But yeah, we appreciate every single one of you guys for sticking with us for the past 2 months. And again, we're going to keep this ball rolling for as long as we possibly can. So, and again, we're going to be talking about new things that I want to do this upcoming week, and then hopefully we can kind of get that ball rolling on the new ideas that we have going on. But again, to each and every single one of you, I appreciate you guys. Stay safe with this whole craziness, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one.
Easy,
all right, guys.
See y'all later.